from the city of Palms, deep in the heart of South Texas, where we have 2 seasons, hot and hotter. You've tuned in to RTD Radio.
Good for you. And yes, my friends, it got to a record 112 degrees last Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Love it.
Yes.
Cooking eggs on the sidewalk.
Oh, to say the least.
That's right.
Full-blown barbecue.
Full-blown barbecue on the sidewalk.
Welcome to rtdradio.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Camino a damascoradio.com. Road to Damascus YouTube channel.
Click subscribe.
Click subscribe. Hit the little
Yes.
bell so you can get notified when we upload new content. Visit our website. Visit the support tab so that you can learn how you can support this endeavor we've got going here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Today we got a really awesome show lined up for you guys.
I'm going to label it Sirens Song.
Dude.
Ooh, that sounds ugly, right?
That just sounds like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and once we start talking about it, you're going to kind of figure out why.
Okay.
I know it's been a while since we did an episode, but it
Yeah.
feels good to be back behind the mic.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, let's get at it.
Let's
Without
get at
taking
it.
too much time, let's get at it.
Yeah.
So, one of the reasons I wanted to call it Siren Song
Okay.
is because of the fact we'll be discussing music today.
Yes.
Both what it is, how it's used,
Yeah.
what is it? I mean, I think I said that.
Yeah.
But in general, how music is affecting our daily lives without
Yes, sir.
us even knowing it, both good and
Well,
bad, of course. Yeah.
Consciously and subconsciously.
Oh, yes.
I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, just like all our other episodes, let's go ahead by defining it.
Defining music.
Mhm.
Okay. You have a definition? I have Wikipedia and dictionary.com.
There you go.
Are those good? All right.
Yeah, I think dictionary.com is literally the dictionary. So
Yeah. It's got a whole bunch of different versions.
yeah, just
It's good. Wikipedia defines music as an art form and cultural activity whose medium is sound organized in time. Now, I chose to define them in this specific order because we'll get to it in a second. So, dictionary.com defines music as a noun, an art of sound in time that expresses ideas and emotions in significant forms through the elements of rhythm, melody, harmony, and color.
wow.
It does offer some more definitions. I just thought that one was the most pertinent to what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So music being an expression which utilizes sound within the frame of time to convey whatever the artist is trying to convey.
Yeah, whether it be anger, joy.
Yeah, I mean,
love,
that's why it's an art.
a metaphor,
it's an expression of art.
Yeah, it's an expression of
right?
what you feel, right?
So when we decided to do a show on music, I know Armando is very good at having what I like to call trivia and quotes from movies, and he's just really good at the social aspect of things.
The useless knowledge.
No, that's the good stuff. That's how it pertains to our lives
Yeah.
and to our everyday. So I concentrated a little bit more on the technical side of music, which is specifically sound. And what is sound? How does it influence us? How do we perceive it? And what I found was that there's a lot of technical stuff going on in the background
Yeah.
that when it gets translated to a song on the radio, you don't really realize how much study and how much technical thought is behind a specific melody or a complete song. And I mean, we'll get into it a little bit more later. I know you have specific examples of artists and their songs and kind of how they came up with them, etc. But they all piggyback off of this really deep use of sound waves and frequency, and the way these waves and frequencies affect not only our body as a whole at an electrical level, at an atomic level, but also our brain waves. And there's a science behind influencing a person's emotions through very specific frequencies and tones that are, emitted by the instruments, and very specific tunings that the musicians use on their instruments in order to achieve these trance-like states of mind. So you want to start with that? Just I'll lay down a little.
Yeah, let's get into the science of it.
Things.
Yeah, look into the science of it.
And then we'll roll into how this strange science actually got used in pop culture, and what things got conjured by the different artists.
Yeah.
So, to me, when I started reading the Bible, one of the things that struck me the most was John 1:1, where it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And that resonated with me because I've always really liked music, like a lot. And to me, this passage in the Bible just kind of lets you know that sound is one of the fundamental building blocks in creation. And that's kind of why I got deep in the study, and I learned how to play a little bit of the guitar, a little bit of piano. I played in a few bands back in the day. And there's something about sound and arranging it in the musical compositions that is like spiritual in nature. You know what I mean? It's like composing a song like takes you to the feeling, to the moment, it's just powerful. So this passage in the Bible for me kind of sums it up. Sound, basically what John's saying here is sound is the base of creation.
Yeah, definitely. It's the expression. It's really it's the expression.
It's the manifestation of into material form of a divine thought. It's like the grid or the matrix on which all of material reality is based. So sound, to not stray too much, in physics, sound is a vibration that propagates as a typically audible mechanical wave of pressure and displacement through a transmission medium such as air or water. In other words, sound is a vibration that flows through mediums like air, water. It goes through walls. It just depends on the medium how much of its vibration can propagate. And it affects absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Now, we perceive it through the ear. And in modern times, we've built devices where we perceive sound through our bones and other parts of our bodies. Like, you haven't seen these, they're like headphones, but you place them on your temples and they basically vibrate.
I was about to say, how do you feel sound? But then I remembered, like, it's a wave.
Yeah, it's
so you actually feel it.
Yeah, people that don't have eardrums.
Yeah, that's how they hear it.
That or they actually feel.
I was about to say, quote unquote, hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, like bats, they don't have ears like we do. They have like diaphragms in their ear canals, and that's why they can hear very high pitched sounds. Anyways, so the human ear can translate sound waves into frequencies between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. Sound above 20 kilohertz is called ultrasound. Sound below 20 hertz is called infrasound.
Oh, okay.
So for example's sake, like the bass in a car, you're driving by, you can feel a guy with a powerful stereo 5 blocks away.
Yeah, you can feel the car moving.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's because the bass sound is emitting sounds in this infrasound spectrum So the sound waves propagate really far and wide with a lot of intensity. And you can feel it with other parts of your body, right? Like your chest, etc. Anyways, so in the study of sound, there was a general consensus when Helmholtz started figuring out that there were specific tones that you could base yourself on and thus create harmonic music, right?
Ah, okay.
So there was a consensus into what frequencies were going to define a tone, which here in the US we know as C, D, E, F, G, and A.
Like the notes?
Yeah, the notes, exactly. Or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do.
Yeah, we all know that, yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
learned
they
that in
decided
school.
on specific frequencies that would be used for a C
Mm-hmm.
and an A. So anything a little bit higher, we call C sharp.
Yeah, so they started labeling the actual sounds, right? To
Exactly.
define it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So there's this labeling of sound frequencies into what we call tones. The issue that arose was that naturally sound frequencies, I guess, are divided into what now we know as the Fibonacci ratio, which actually Fibonacci didn't come up with that, by the way. It was actually some notes that he popularized, but Fibonacci did not come up with the golden ratio. That was something that existed previously. Anyways, in the 1800s, some people decided to agree on what is called concert pitch, which is the standard by which all musicians are going to tune their instruments, right? That way, a violin and a guitar and a piano, when they strike an A chord, it will sound uniform and universal no matter what instrument you're on.
Yeah.
You know, just that particular instrument will give it its own tone and its own feeling because it's created differently, right? The problem was that before this consensus, 432 hertz was recognized as concert pitch A. And this resonates with nature. It resonates with the Fibonacci ratio that's found in all parts of nature. And what they did was they hired the frequency to 440 hertz, which is a sharp pitch. And what happened was that they offset nature and they caused disassociation in the listener's ear, right? And this curiously happened around the time when modern era comes in and artists start having a huge influence on the mainstream population.
So
and
when
then,
music got big, pretty much.
yeah, when music got big, and I think that they learned to harness the power of frequency, and they started seeing that they could, quote unquote, program emotions into the listener, because music stopped being something that you felt naturally and started becoming something that a part of your brain had to specifically concentrate on. So they broke the natural harmonics of frequency.
Yeah.
So music stopped being felt and you had to actually pay attention subconsciously. And upon paying attention subconsciously, well, now you have like an open door for messages to go through, right? And this is where artists, and Amando's going to get into some really good examples of what kinds of messages were creeping in through those doors.
Yeah, I mean, both good and bad. So we can't
Yeah.
say that music is bad or
Oh, no.
music is always used to make me do things that I don't want to do or whatever. No, I mean,
No.
to go back to what you said, I know, like you said, music, it really is an expression.
Yeah.
But also through those expressions, it's meant to convey a certain feeling or something.
Yes.
And I know we were talking just briefly how there's a few songs or themes out there that once somebody hears it, it automatically makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah, of course.
One being like the Jaws theme.
Yes.
So
who
we all
doesn't
know
that
that.
one?
So even if you've never seen Jaws
Yeah.
and you hear that song,
Yes.
you're gonna automatically know that some danger is lurking behind you or whatnot. Or even one that I just
Exactly.
thought of right now is like the Halloween movies. There's
Yeah.
always that like slasher, yeah,
Wing.
things like that. Like you automatically know it's gonna be bad.
Yes.
Or let's say like something like Rocky, like the Rocky theme, where it's more inspirational and actually
Yes.
more motivational.
Exactly.
So when I hear Rocky, I don't get scared. It makes me want to go do something.
Yes.
Or like let's say even Star Wars. Star Wars
Yes.
has many different themes where those songs actually do convey certain emotions with it.
Exactly.
And of course, you got different songs that just make you sad. I mean, there's some songs there.
Exactly.
You know, it might bring back a memory of a grandfather or somebody, or it might bring back a memory of a loved one that used to sing that song all the time or whatnot.
Yes.
And also, you got songs or tunes that make you like laugh or just are meant to be memorable. And I know
Yes.
one a good example is when I was little. There used to be always commercials. I feel like chicken tonight. Like chicken
Yeah, those
tonight.
melodies.
Yeah, that commercial hasn't been on for at least 15 years, but I'm gonna remember that tune till pretty much the day I die. Another example would be like the deodorant commercials when they say "By Menon." Like
Okay,
it always has that at the end,
Yeah.
and it's like a small little. It's literally a few seconds, but I'm always gonna think of deodorant whenever I hear that tune.
Those melodies.
Yeah, those
have
little
been
melodies.
lodged in your
Yeah,
subconscious
even like the
mind.
Looney Tunes ones when we're growing up, or even technically even the ABCs is a tune to help you remember.
Yeah.
In this case, it's educational for the ABCs,
Yeah.
but it's the same premise of let's say the Chicken Tonight or the By Menon,
Yeah.
where they're really designed to keep that memory in your head. Really.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. These themes or these melodies
Yeah.
are based on scales. Scales are groups of notes that are always played together. And throughout time, different genres have defined scales to a point where a certain set of scales will induce a certain kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, the Jaws theme. That is a very specific scale played at a very specific frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And the subconscious mind has no choice but to feel fear because of the way our brain waves are set up. Apparently, our brains, internally inside our brains, the cortical neurons, when they're moving around,
Mm-hmm.
they move around at specific frequencies depending on what state of mind you are in. And they've labeled these like gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta. Like when you're asleep,
Mm-hmm.
your neurons are firing within your brain from 4 to 8 hertz. And they call that theta. When you're wide awake, there's a different frequency at which your brain is moving. When you're heavy in thought, there's a different frequency in hertz that your brain is functioning at. So what happens is there's natural harmonics between these notes and your brain. So in a sense, it's kind of like emulating the brain waves that you would have if you were deep in fear, deep in sorrow, deep in joy, etc., etc. And musicians have caught on to this, and they work their lyrics and their melodies around a certain set of scales that are going to subliminally induce these feelings that we're talking about. It's I mean, it's a deep thing. We're not going to get too deep into it. I'm just kind of going over, just shallow into these themes. We don't want to make it about this.
Yeah.
The show is really about music. And
Yeah,
that's how. That's
no,
how
yeah.
they
So
do
you
it.
just you laid it out pretty good. How it goes from sound to a tune
Yeah.
to a melody,
Yeah.
and then eventually you just add on lyrics, and it becomes a full blown song.
Yeah. Exactly.
So of course, songs are all over the place. I mean, we
Yeah.
just take it for granted the fact that some of us even speak in a very
Melodic way. Yeah.
melodic way. I've heard that people describe that as myself as well.
Yeah.
But for some of us that are blessed with a high range, that we're able to make different sounds,
Yeah. Of
pretty
tones.
much that you're able to sing well.
Yeah.
Some of us are actually able to make money off of that.
Yeah.
So that's where you got your professional artists.
Yeah.
And on top of that, a lot of these people that sing for a living will use their voice through the music to convey certain
Yeah.
emotions and convey certain meanings. Now, music has a lot of different. Well, the songs out there are motivated by many different reasons. A
Yeah.
real big one would be, of course, your love song.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course.
I think we're talking like 90% of every song ever written was probably a love song, whether it be a bad love song or celebrating, a breakup song, or
Yeah.
or an actual celebrating love song. Who doesn't know a love song?
Yeah. Of course.
I mean, everybody knows one.
Yeah. You feel all mushy on some.
You feel all mushy inside, and I'm not gonna start giving examples because
Yeah.
it won't stop. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Every genre has a lot of songs.
Yeah, whether it be country, even there's
Yeah.
some love metal songs. If you really think
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another motivation for songs would be just a reflection on society as a whole, whether it be good or bad.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are really politically motivated.
Yeah.
So like a good example that I would use are like your anti-war songs, whether
Okay.
it be from the 60s, the 70s, during the Vietnam era,
Yeah.
to, let's say, even now, there's still songs. I mean, there are songs that are like anti-war, like, for example, our involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan and
Yeah.
whatnot. There's songs
People
even
have
now. Yeah, there's people,
Messages.
yeah, people have messages in their songs
sure.
where they wanna convey their dislike for war,
Or their
and
philosophy.
or their philosophies of the music.
Yeah.
So like a good one I know off the top of my head would be like the Cranberries singing the song "Zombie."
Yeah.
Now that song is it's a real catchy song. Usually, I mean, you kind of have to be a little bit older to have remembered that song, but that one
What are you
specifically for us older folk.
There you
But
go.
that one specifically, they're Irish, so they're speaking about
Yeah.
like the whole Irish Revolution when when it was the Irish fighting against the Brits,
Yeah.
and all the suffering that people went through.
It got ugly.
Yeah, it got ugly.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the reason it's called Zombie is because it's referencing how people who are directly involved with the violence, they just have no reaction to it. They're zombies without sympathy who
Yeah.
refuse to take action while others suffer.
There you go.
So it's like you're walking by and you see somebody dying on the floor and you
And
just
you're,
keep on
eh.
walking. You're a
You're used to
zombie.
it.
Yeah, you're numb
You're
to the
numb
pain.
to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now the singer, of course, gives specific examples in her lyrics on like a certain funeral or whatever. And if you don't
Yeah.
know what you're looking for, it's just gonna be part of the song.
Yeah.
But myself, I could listen to that song a billion times because it's just really catchy.
Yeah.
And I really like it. But it makes you think as well.
That's what makes songs and artists popular, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That at first glance, you can be influenced by the tones and the scales that they're using. But when you sit and listen to them, they can get really deep and meaningful.
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning the zombie song. There's a lot of other songs by lots of artists.
Mhm.
There's even some instrumental songs that will not only make you feel a certain thing when you start like trying to play it on an instrument, you'll figure out that the musician composed it in a certain way.
Yeah.
And music is like a canvas
Yeah.
that can paint a lot of different things.
That's why
in
they're
a
called
lot of
artists. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why they're called artists. And, that's why some people can label an artist as deep when somebody thinks that they're shallow. And it has nothing to do with the artist. It has everything to do with the person listening.
Exactly, yeah.
Um,
And I'm guilty of it where I'll hear a song and I'm just so, I guess, caught by the tune of it that I
Yeah.
completely miss over what the song is actually saying.
That'll happen too.
And that happens a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I hear a song on the radio and I could care less what the artist is saying in their song, the lyrics really.
Yeah.
But I'm just so caught up in the actual rhythm
And
of
that's
the song.
dangerous.
And that is super dangerous.
It could
'cause
be
subliminally,
dangerous. Yeah.
that lyrics could be conveying something bad.
Yeah. Or asking you to do something that you don't
Yeah.
want to do.
Another, not to stray too far off, but another politically motivated song. It's from a German group, and it's called 99 Red Balloons. Really, that one was against kind of the whole Cold War era.
Okay.
Where you got these instances where you look up your history where somebody in like some Russian radar base sees a flock of seagulls, and then they'll think it's nukes, and that could have caused the end of the world. Well, in this case, 99 Red Balloons, they're going to release them just to show how stupid it is that these little balloons could actually bring apart,
start a war,
start the end of the world.
Yeah.
So things like that. So they're actually kind of making fun how these red balloons are going to be classified as UFOs. So they're going to just automatically start shooting at them.
That's pretty deep too.
Yeah, it's a real catchy song.
Yeah.
Look it up. We're gonna put links of everything we're saying on our website. So I'm actually gonna put the lyrics and even if I can, maybe like even the YouTube link to the song. So they're real catchy.
Yeah.
The English version, of course, because the German version, if you know German, awesome. But listen to the words, and you actually
it was being used as a political statement when they couldn't outright up front say what they wanted to say.
Exactly.
So they used this metaphor.
Yeah, you got to remember. I mean, in Europe at the time, you literally had a giant wall separating East and West Berlin.
Yeah.
And if somebody were to try to even climb over that wall, you get shot on sight. Now, these artists are just making fun of the fact that it's at the height of the Cold War, and any little thing in the air that's mistaken for a missile could literally bring about the end of the world.
The whole war.
Yeah. So they're kind of just pointing that out.
Yeah.
And
which reminds me of the artists in my mind that have used the biggest metaphors. At least in my memory, Pink Floyd. Yeah,
I was actually going to touch on that right now. Pink Floyd. There's literally a website called thewallanalysis.com where that dude, man, that guy literally breaks down every single song.
Yeah.
And it's called the Wall album, pretty much.
Yeah.
Where he's breaking down every single song. And if you guys haven't seen the movie Pink Floyd, The Wall, it is very trippy.
It's great.
It's literally a giant music video.
Very metaphoric.
Yeah, it's super metaphoric, and he's commenting on what he sees in society.
Yeah.
And it's ugly.
Yeah,
it's super ugly.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Roger Waters, David Gilmour went real deep on that.
Super deep.
They could not outright say some of the things that they said through their lyrics.
No. So they had to show you and make you feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the actual DVD, it's called The Wall. I mean, everybody, I would think, for the most part, that song is so iconic, or that album is so iconic, that if somebody were to tell me, all in all, you're just another brick in the wall, it's going to automatically stir up that memory of that song. Yeah.
Yeah.
And or songs like Hey You, or I just had, even talking about it right now, I have memories where like the hammers turn into soldiers. Things like that in the music video, that it's crazy, but he got his point across.
Yeah. And they conveyed it as a leader of a band called Pink, who was going through all of these struggles in his personal life, but they had been brought upon because of the country that he lived in and the way that he was forced to grow up. So, I mean, it was deep. I really liked...
Super deep, yeah.
I liked the way that they referenced or were talking about their government, metaphorically speaking, like their mother.
Yeah.
You know, there's a song in there. I think it's not Hey You. I don't remember the title of the song off the top of my head, but he's talking about mother loves her baby, daddy loves her too.
It's like super slow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently Pink's father was drafted into the war.
Yeah, this would have been World War II or World War I, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his life just spiraled out of control.
Once he lost his dad.
Once he lost his father. Yeah. Right? And then later he becomes a famous band member, and, you know, he gets into all these situations. But it was all brought upon because of his tyrannical government.
Yeah, in this case, I mean, we're not going to name the government he was in.
Yeah, but y'all know. Come on now.
Yeah. And, that the Pink Floyd, The Wall, it's super deep.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. It's pretty disturbing. There are some real disturbing images in there, of course, like going back to like the war scenes. Yeah. Or even some of the, because he does include like cartoons.
Yeah.
And they can get pretty graphic.
Yeah, where the kids are on a conveyor belt and they're basically
Yeah,
being
going into a meat
ground up.
grinder. Yeah, that's not a
Exactly.
cartoon, but that's part of the actual The Wall
Yes.
song. And
Yeah.
he's honestly he's trying to convey how the whole system is set up to just pump out soldiers. In this
Yeah.
case, to just pump them out, and they literally send them to the meat grinder.
Meat grinder.
And if you don't obey, you're not gonna get your pudding. Yeah,
Exactly. How can I get my pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Yeah, you have to obey.
Yeah, they were good.
Another song that is kind of mirroring society. A lot of people have different interpretations of it. In my research, the song "Hotel California" by the Eagles.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, what is the actual hotel? Now, I actually found an
Yeah.
interview with the actual artist that sang it. Now, to them, officially,
From the
Hotel
Eagles.
California is actually California, is the whole music industry.
Yeah.
Now, it can have different metaphors. I know, Carlos, I know you've mentioned Hotel California could be heroin. I said
Yeah.
it could be drugs or it could be whatever. Now,
Yeah.
I think they just kind of played it safe and actually just said Hotel California was the actual entertainment industry,
Yeah.
where it includes so many different types of people that pretty much once you're in, I mean, you're
Yeah.
in. It's kind of hard to get out without either death or just kind of ruining yourself.
See, that's a good artist. An artist who can write a song and different people will find different meanings in the same song.
Yeah.
You know, like you're mentioning, to me, Hotel California is very specific on heroin use. And I'm only going on the line where it literally says, she lit up a candle and showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor, thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just listening to that, you're like, oh, well, it was dark. They lit up a candle. Yeah. But heroin addicts will recognize that as
really quick. They'll pick it
the
up.
pathway to their addiction. And once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt that when he meant it was California because of the fact that heroin played such a big part of the music industry at that time.
Yeah.
You got to remember that I think that song came out in the 70s, no?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so I
Late
mean,
70s.
Yeah, so that heavy drug use was so prevalent in the industry.
Yeah, it was
that
part
I
of
wouldn't
it.
doubt that.
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole song is on heroin, but that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I love the real big line that he says, you can check out anytime you want, but you can't ever
But
leave.
you can never leave.
Yeah, that's like a super. If you
Yeah.
listen to the word, it's a super hardcore song, and on top of that, the tune of it is just so
The
it's
scale
just so good
that
yeah.
they chose.
Even if you don't even care what the song's saying, if somebody puts it on,
Yeah.
man, it's I don't want to say it's soothing, but it's just real chill to the point of it's super relaxing
Yeah.
to me, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their selection of tones and scales and the use of harmonics coincided with the deepness of their metaphoric expression.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I was a kid in the 90s, so I kind of gave away my age. When I was a
There you
kid
go.
in the 90s, there was this thing called people would always tell me how, man, if you play this song backwards, it has some demonic symbol or demonic text,
Yeah.
or
What
it
is
tells
that
me to go
called?
kill myself, or it tells me whatever. That term itself
Blacklisting or black
is
labeling
literally
or what?
called blackmasking.
Blackmasking. There you go.
So
that was really popular.
that was huge, and it's
Yeah.
actually defined as a recording technique in which a sound or message is recorded backwards onto a track that is meant to be played forward. And blackmasking is a deliberate process. It doesn't happen by accident.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
where a message found through phonetic reversal may be unintentional. In
Yeah,
this case,
no.
you're actually on purpose putting a hidden message in your song
Yeah.
or album, which has to be played backwards in order for you to actually get it. A big famous one was the Beatles,
Yeah.
who used it in their album Revolver.
Helter Skelter?
Another one would be Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of demonized in the sense that a lot of the
Well, it is
satanic.
demonic.
Well, I mean, it depends on the message.
Come on.
Black
Well,
masking in
yes.
itself is not demonic.
No, but the
But the
messages
use-
are rarely
Yeah, they're rarely
positive.
good. So you had a
Yeah.
lot of these satanic groups use it.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to always tell me like, oh, you listen to Metallica backwards, it tells you to do something, or you listen to
well, it does.
Megadeth backwards, it tells you to do something, or whatever, or Alice
Wow.
Cooper. I mean, some of these groups that I never listened to, quote unquote, they would do that.
You
Now,
don't have
actually,
them at
to the
ringtone.
point where there was serious consequences because people were subliminally doing things due
Influenced.
to these. Yeah, they were
Well,
influenced.
of course.
So there's actually like, I think in '83, California actually introduced a bill that made it illegal. So that made
didn't know that.
blackmasking illegal. Yeah, I'm looking it up
I didn't
right
know
now.
that, man. That's
And
cool.
and actually in Arkansas, they same thing. In '83, they passed laws specifically for the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Queen, and Styx.
There you
So
go.
now they mentioned Queen. Queen is another band where some of the lyrics are crazy, are pretty good.
Yeah. Well, some of the outright upfront lyrics are not metaphoric at all.
Oh yeah, it's pretty.
Freddie
up close.
Mercury
Yeah,
was-
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
He was hardcore, man.
He was hardcore.
Yeah. And another one was like "Stairway to Heaven" from Led Zeppelin.
Led
Some of
Zeppelin.
these songs, some of these massive,
sure.
iconic songs, man, that everybody should know.
Yeah.
Like, listen to the words, man. They're actually not that good. There's actually some even there's court cases where
Okay.
individuals have sued artists because of blackmasking.
Like individual people?
Yes, there was a serial killer named Richard Ramirez who, on
Okay.
trial in 1988, actually stated that AC/DC's song "Night Prowler" on the Highway to Hell album actually
Yeah.
inspired him to commit murder. He was
Oh,
saying that if you reverse
man.
it, it contained messages saying like, "I am the law, my name is Lucifer, and she belongs in hell," things like that. So I'm not too sure actually what happened with that, but I think
Yeah.
he just stated that while he was on trial. Another one would be,
But he committed murder.
oh yeah, he was a serial
Obviously.
killer,
Like
yeah, so
serial
Yeah,
killer.
so he killed a lot of people, and
Whoa.
he attributed that to
AC/DC.
AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Yeah. Another
Wow.
one would be like the heavy metal band Judas Priest.
Yeah.
There was actually suicide pacts made by people listening to these songs,
Okay.
and it's just crazy how a lot of these subliminal messages that it might be intended as a joke at the time.
I don't think it's a joke.
Neither do I. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, these subliminal messages do influence people to do certain actions.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
Well, the theory behind it is that the subconscious mind
picks up on it. Yeah.
picks up on it and is much more conscious than people would like to think. It
Mhm.
actually picks up, like, for example, what you see out of the corner of your eye is not really the focus of your attention, yet you have memory retention
Yeah, definitely.
of those things. So music works the same way. You don't have to specifically be paying attention, but you will get influenced. Like you mentioned a little while ago, you'll pick up on a tune and it's catchy, and you won't even know that you're probably citing a invocation or some kind of chant,
Yeah, no, exactly. It's true.
you know,
It's
which
true.
is the dangerous part
Mhm.
of all this.
Yeah, and we all tend to memorize songs, and then we will sing it in the mirror or in the shower or whenever, but we really don't even know what we're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know I've caught myself like it just a song gets in my head, I start singing it or whatever, and then later on I start thinking like, damn, like did I just say that? Like
Yeah.
really? You know, like really? Did I just
Yeah.
really say that?
I didn't realize that happened to me a lot, and I didn't realize the lyrics until I stopped to listen to them
Yeah.
with Katy Perry. That happened like real gacho bad.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, she's like a pop star, and I didn't give it two thoughts. And then one day, Mando and I were having a little beef session, and he laid some songs on me while I was actually deeply thinking about the lyrics and paying attention to them. And man, the things they say.
Yeah, no, so we were kind of mentioning how some of these songs are politically motivated.
Yeah.
They're kind of conveying social injustices or certain philosophies of the artist.
Yeah.
Now, some of these philosophies are, yes, I don't want to say they want to combat social injustices that they see. Some of the motivations are also, I'm going to straight out call it satanic in nature.
Yeah, for
where
sure.
some of these artists are blatant,
Quite obvious.
quite obvious
Worshipping.
Satan, and they don't even try to hide it anymore.
No. And there's making suggestions that would please their master.
Yeah, and they hide it behind these super catchy songs. Now, I
Yeah.
know right now you mentioned like Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Now, Katy Perry, I read an article, I was saying about a week ago, where
Yeah.
Katy Perry breaks the Twitter record by becoming the first person with 100 million followers.
Whoa. 100 million?
That's literally a third of the United States is following Katy
Wow.
Perry on Twitter.
Wow.
Now, of those 100 million, probably be a safe bet that
Half.
I would say like 70 million of them are probably children,
Yeah, underage
teenagers,
minors. Yeah.
or somebody that's very impressionable.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
without going super deep, I'm not gonna start reciting songs.
No.
Or I'm gonna mention some.
Yeah.
One, of course, would be the song "Dark Horse."
Yes,
That song is super catchy. When it first came out,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm guilty of it. You just listen to the little rhythm, and yeah, man, it's pretty cool.
That song specifically talks about the whole hidden agenda that we've been talking about and trying to prove that the Bible is warning you about. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Now, for me, when an artist takes the time to either sit down and write a song, and then on top of that, produce it, record it, sing it, edit it. I mean, hold on. No,
Yeah.
It's because I'm going to take what they're saying as literal. So if an artist says, I'm in love with somebody, to me, it's because they're in love with somebody. So when Katy Perry says, make me your Aphrodite, make me your one and only, and so you want to play with magic, I'm going to take it both literally, that she does want to be the center of your attention, and at the same time, both metaphorically.
Yeah.
So it has those both meanings to me. And then that song, like I said, is super catchy.
But see, what gets me about those specific types of artists is that they don't produce the entirety of their songs.
No, but the seed is implanted, and then somehow, either demonically or whatever, and then the song comes out.
That's a question that I have for you. I mean, okay, considering we've been over frequency, we haven't hit binaural beats yet. We'll get there. But there's a lot of physics and science behind a song. Tones are grouped into scales. Scales are specifically designed to induce a certain feeling, a certain mindset. Certain scales played in a certain sequence will undoubtedly and proven cause a reaction in people. Then you have these other subliminal concepts like blacklisting and all these other things. Considering that the actual science behind a song that's going to be targeted for a specific message is so complex, do you really feel that some of these artists are actually coming up with all of this by chance? Or do you think that there's some kind of spiritual intervention in them coming up with a work that entails so much, does give such a very specific message, and on all these levels pushes an agenda?
Well, to be honest, for the most part, these artists don't write their songs.
That's what I mean.
mean, some do. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. There are some artists out there that they literally sit down for hours and just write down what's in their head and they sing it. But for the most part, a lot of these artists out there are, forgive the pun, they're just a microphone. All they are is somebody writes something down and they're just the microphone meant to convey the message. Now, I'm gonna put links to all these different songs, and I'm going to kind of quote some of the lyrics and literally just scroll down to the bottom. It'll let you know who wrote the song, who produced it. And because she didn't wake up one day just thinking, I'm going to write this song with this exact lyrics, with this exact tune.
But somebody did.
Whatever. Somebody did, and that somebody, yes, I would say, they're influenced by, I'm going to go in and say they're influenced by some demonic entity that actually is putting it in there.
Because back in the day, and we've got artists that I'll put in the notes that are on record in interviews straight out saying that some of their songs were given to them during sessions of automatic writing.
That happens a lot. I think it was the Rolling Stones
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, something like that. Where literally,
there's a few.
I think there's who's Mick Jagger. There he goes. Mick Jagger said literally he just goes into a trance.
Yeah.
And then he just starts automatic writing. Another one, Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Another one, Jim Morrison.
There's a lot.
A lot of these guys that were like super into drugs.
Yeah.
That they use drugs to induce themselves in these trances.
Yeah.
And then they would just start writing these masterpieces, for lack of a better word.
If you listen to our show about exorcisms and
Yeah, we
demonic
kind of allude to
possession.
it. Yeah.
We kind of talk about that. That's no joke. That's real.
Mhm.
And what gets me is that some of these artists are almost proud
Yeah.
to be the ones that are doing this.
They're like showing it off.
They're showing it off. And to me,
And on
that's
top of
just-
that, they want your kids.
yeah. No, straight
Yeah,
up.
on top of that,
Yeah.
they're reaching out to your daughters
Yeah.
and to your sons.
Exactly.
Like, for example, there's a song that Katy Perry has called Teenage Dream,
Yeah.
where obviously it's not going to be meant toward a 30-year-old male.
No.
It's going to be meant towards the adolescent female
Yeah.
or male in some cases. And one of the lyrics is, "Let's go all the way tonight.
Yeah.
No regrets, just love. We can dance until we die. You and I will be young forever."
Man.
Now, I don't know how many kids at my even local church were singing that.
Wow.
Or I don't know how many kids are literally in the elementary schools, middle schools, high schools around the country right now singing that lyrics.
If we just
And
break
they don't even, I'm just breaking down
that
4
phrase.
lines.
No,
Yeah, I'm
that
just laying down
phrase. I
four-
mean, that phrase has like biblical ramifications.
Yeah, right off the bat, you and I will be young forever. I mean, that's what Lucifer promised Eve, for one.
The original sin.
Let's
Come on
go
now.
all the way tonight.
Come on.
Commit fornication, whatever.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
no regrets, just love. Do what thou wilt. Do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. There's no consequences.
That's heavy
So-
indoctrination in 4 lines.
Super, super bad.
I mean, not to pick on Katy Perry or anything,
I'll
but
pick on her.
the song that launched her into stardom, I Kissed
Kiss
a
a
Girl.
Girl. Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah,
I
and it's
mean-
super catchy. I'm not gonna, because I'm gonna
Yeah.
give credit's due. That song is super catchy.
Yeah.
That thing I think came out when I was in college, and I was
Yeah.
like, what? I
Yeah.
was like, man, like I heard everybody was singing that song, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you start hearing the lyrics, and like, what? Like,
You know what's weird?
like,
If
really?
I'm not mistaken, that's one of the songs that when you put a song into what's called a spectrograph, when you can actually see the frequencies of the song as they're being played, there's like symbols in them. I'm going to put a link to a show that Gans Shimura did
Face
on,
Like the Sun.
on Face Like
Yeah.
the Sun,
YouTube.
where he actually shows this happening in a song. I don't remember by who, but they're so blatant and they're so knowledgeable on how music works and affects people and the body that they go as far as to draw symbols into the frequency patterns of
That's
the
crazy.
music.
See, that's hardcore. Yeah.
That's, I mean,
Yeah.
that's way out
So
there.
that's another song. Her newest album, Witness. Just look at the cover art, and that should
Yeah.
tell you enough. And going back to it, man, 100 million followers. Now,
That's
and that cover art
nuts.
is her actual profile icon.
Yeah.
So
I've
anytime
seen it.
any one of these 100 million followers is looking at her a tweet or a Facebook post or
Yeah.
whatever is out
They're
there,
seeing that.
they're seeing that. Another one that I remember when we started talking, when
Yeah.
me and you started first beefing,
Beefing.
the pre-RTD.
Yeah.
I know a song that really kind of caught you off guard was E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we've been talking about it before. The
Rogue
whole
and-
the whole alien abduction phenomenon. How
Yeah.
we related it to the
Demons.
how the demon possession, incubus,
Yeah.
succubus. I think it's one of the episodes we talked about.
Yeah.
Katy Perry and this song E.T. kind of mixes the both, where a huge line in there is "Infect me with your love and fill me with your poison.
Yeah.
I want to be a victim, ready for abduction."
Yeah.
So she's, and if you've seen the music video,
Yeah. The music video is just, there's no
it's-
hiding
yeah, there's no
anymore.
hiding it. She comes off as an
No.
alien, and she's straight out talking about how
DNA.
could you be an angel, could you be the devil? How
Yeah.
she wants to change your DNA,
Yeah.
things like that.
Just straight out.
Just straight out. And then of course you got your boy Kanye in there saying
Yeah.
how he's ready to disrobe and then probe.
Yeah.
Of course with the sexual connotation in there.
Yeah.
And going back to it, how many little girls are out there hearing this song? How many little
Yeah.
boys are out there hearing this song? And not even little boys and little girls. To you, the adult, the father, the
Yeah,
mother.
why are you
How many
putting
of you
this
have played this
for
in the
your
background
children?
of a barbecue?
Or danced with your children
Exactly,
to
or-
this catchy tune.
Exactly.
Come on,
Listen
y'all.
to the song. Now this is just Katy
Yeah.
Perry.
You know, the thing is, like, my wife gets real, like, fussy when I start talking about these things. I'm going to give the example. There's this song out there. Despacito.
Yeah.
I really dislike that song, not because it's not catchy. It's incredibly catchy.
Yeah, super. I think it's like the number one Spanish English song ever, something like that.
She sings it to my son.
Yeah.
And I got a little angry because I stopped her. I
Listen
turned
to
it
the
off.
lyrics?
And I'm like, are you listening to what you're singing? And she looked at me with this face like, what are you doing? Like, you're going overboard. Like, you're too much into your RTD radio. You're too much into these things. And that's the world we're living in. That's an example of the world we're living in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on your wife either.
Yeah.
Because even myself, I'll catch myself when somebody points out what you're doing is wrong. The first thing you do is gonna get defensive, and then you're gonna defend the wrong.
Yeah,
and without, I mean, that's the first inclination of any person, and that goes for me too. Because I know I've talked to certain individuals where I'm like, hey, do you realize what you just sang?
Yeah.
And the first thing they do is they get mad and like, what are you talking about? You're just thinking too much into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're singing this to your baby girl, or you're singing this to your kids, or you're straight out showing them how to dance like they're dancing in the music videos, and this little girl's like 9.
You're hypersexualizing them at that age.
I have a few family members that are quite young in age, and they already know how to twerk, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, come
that's
on,
ridiculous.
man. Like, seriously.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to finish my statement because my wife is gonna hear this. The thing is that it's nothing against the person personally. The war is against the powers and principalities that are pushing these agendas. So this is an example of the world we're living in today, and there's only two sides. There's this side where some of us are trying to wake up to what's happening, seeing things for what they are, and simply trying to avoid things. And then there's everybody else who's going to justify with whatever reason and whatever means what's happening.
Yep.
Now, the sad part is that some of the people that are making justifications are only making justifications because they want to exclude themselves from guilt. Unfortunately, if you're not part of the solution,
you're part of the problem.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, I love you, honey. I want to say that. No, but seriously, some things are not going to fly, and I'm going to appreciate it when somebody calls me out on some things that I've just accepted into my life because of habit that are wrong.
Yeah, we try to justify ourselves a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that, I'm this perfect guy, or because we do all this studying to do all these shows, we've identified every single thing out there. No.
And even we can be corrected. Yeah.
Exactly. And there are things that I'm for sure, I know I'm doing wrong. I think, you know what? I'm going to take it to this level. I actually think that that's why there's going to be an individual judgment.
Yeah, it has to be individual.
Because only the individual and God would know with what intention and what level of ignorance and how much ignorance played into the outcome of your actions within life.
Yeah.
I understand that some people that are not reading into the lyrics, are not studying all these things that go behind something as simple as a song. I understand that there's a level of ignorance that can be justified. But at the end of the day, only you in your interior, in your heart of hearts.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing, or you don't know what you're doing, or you could have known what you were doing and you willfully ignored.
You turned a blind eye. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, I know I'm hitting myself in the foot with some of this stuff.
Ugly.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Another now, of course, Katy Perry grew up in a super Christian household. She actually started her career as a gospel singer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into
Beyonce.
I'm not going to go into her history, but her parents go to her concerts literally to rebuke her.
Yeah.
So that tells you something. I would encourage all of you within the sound of my voice, when you hear a Katy Perry song on the radio, turn it off. I mean, just educate yourself, guys. Turn it off. It's not worth it. It's not worth indoctrinating your kids to act a certain way or to or to be ready to be a victim and ready for abduction, or to go all the way tonight, or even to ask boys to make them their Aphrodite. I mean, you don't want. Myself, I'm a proud father of a little girl. I don't want my daughter growing up anything to be like Katy Perry.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
You're listening, Wimbe.
There you go. Another artist going out there that I believe does have some satanic influence would be Rhianna.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a big one. I'm not gonna name up all of her songs. Obviously, she has a massive ISIS tattoo on her chest.
Yeah.
She has this one song that was a huge hit called S&M.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Now, I remember going down to the grocery store or going down to Walmart or whatever and hearing little girls singing this song.
Yeah.
Hearing little boys singing the song.
Yeah.
Now, one of the lines is, it feels so good being bad, there's no way I'm turning back. Now the pain is for pleasure, because nothing can measure. Now, if you see the video, she's acting out S&M scenes, where there's even one where she's acting like a baby, things like that, or the swings. I mean, she has some pretty explicit lyrics. Yeah. Now, to somebody, really, let's define what's S&M. Sadomasochism. Masochist. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's somebody who enjoys pain, usually in a sexual nature. Yeah. So it's not something. I'm not gonna say it's not normal.
Or being dominated.
Or being dominating.
Or ridiculed.
So like your 50 Shades of Grey movie, things like that. Yeah. Now it's pushing that agenda real quick, like hardcore when this artist is pushing that behavior on these teenage girls. Yeah. Or these teenage boys.
Something's going on.
Exactly. Where now they want to start. Now they're actually getting sexual pleasure out of either inflicting pain on others. Or receiving pain. Yeah. Now, that's for me. That's not. I don't get any kick out of that. No. If I see somebody in pain, my first inclination is to help them. Yeah. Not to get some sexual gratification out of it. For the most part, I mean, for me, it's just wrong. But this artist made a -- 1 hit off of it, and it was #1 for I don't know how long. And going back to it, we got our little girls, little boys singing it in the schoolyard. Yeah. So that's one that Rihanna's another artist. I would encourage you guys listen to the lyrics before you let your kid buy the iTunes, buy the album, buy whatever, download that tune. Yeah. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to what they're listening to.
Yeah. Before you do that, I remember a song she has something about umbrella. That was a little more metaphoric. It wasn't as blatant as S&M, but still, it's pushing a satanic agenda, straight out.
That's it, yeah, and that's a real catchy song. Yeah, super catchy song. Another one, I mean, one thing I did not want to do is make this into a Illuminati in the music show. No, I really didn't want it to be like that. Okay, but there's no going around it. When you got your artists, these mega hip hop artists, let's say like Jay-Z. Yeah. He's one where I would say, you know what, he definitely does have some satanic influences. In his music, down to the point where he literally has a song called Lucifer.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Now, one of the songs is I'm gonna read some of the themes. Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna chase you out of the earth. Yeah. Lucifer, Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm from the murder capital where we murder for capital. Yeah. So he's talking about how they kill for money, things like that. Now, if you read the entire lyrics of the song, specifically, he's talking about killing Catholics. Yeah. And he's actually really mocking their religion on why they're going to church, why they tithe, on how they're stupid for going to church, things like that. And a specific lyric or line that I read in that song that kind of really got me mad. Yeah. Was when he said, "So curse the day that birthed the bastard who caused your church mass. Reverse the crash, reverse the blast. And reverse the car, reverse the day, and there you are." Damn. Now, he's talking about the day Christ was born. Yeah. Now, when he says he's cursing the day that birthed the bastard. He's literally calling Christ a bastard, and he's cursing the day that he was born. So for me, I mean, that's pretty up there.
It's one of those things pretty that bad, man. Once it's done. Not only that, you can't lollygag around what you've done.
Yeah.
and who you are and why you're putting. Because this is not some underground mixtape.
No, this is a huge
This is not
song,
something
yeah.
that he did at some concert out in the middle of nowhere. This is an album that got put out like mainstream.
Yeah.
With your
Exactly.
name
Like
on
you said,
it.
it wasn't
you know.
sold in some underground venue. No, this is.
What gets me, a few things. The first thing is that we had been warned about these types of attitudes for the longest time. And I'm just going to go back to a guy called Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner was a member of the Theosophical Society. If that doesn't ring a bell, Madame Blavatsky, etc., etc. He's a Rosicrucian.
We'll do
He's
shows on her.
esotericist. Now, these were people back in the day who were pretty much setting up modern day society the way it's almost being played out
Like a fiddle.
to their playbook. And they had no qualms about being satanic, about, as Mr. Alberino says, fornicating with entities and extracting information from the other side.
Yep.
And he's quoted by saying, works using Luciferian brightness and aromatic tones in music could bring a condensing of greed forces in the West. Now, this is like 1800 something.
Yeah. So
right?
we're talking about how music could be influenced a bit. Yeah. Exactly.
And not only how, exactly which tone, Luciferian brightness has to do with that change in frequency to the concert pitch that I was mentioning. So they purposely offset all of music to this type of tonality that would literally open doors to the subconscious mind because they're not part of nature. So there's this thing that happens that's called phi dampening. Basically what happens is inside the ear, there's an apparatus called the cochlea that actually looks like a spiral. And it's the one that's in charge of giving you balance, right? And what happens is that when this cochlea is influenced by frequencies that are not harmonic, it has to compensate. And when it starts to compensate, it throws the rest of your body literally off whack, literally out of balance, literally into a state of shock, literally into a state of disarray, literally into a chaotic state. So what I'm literally saying is that these tones, this music done in this way has been engineered to cause strife.
Definitely.
And all of what we see today. Disconnection.
Of course. Yeah, the lyrics could be used as, of course, as a tool for the devil to get his point across. Now, do I believe Jay-Z in himself just one day decided, you know what, I'm going to curse Jesus on the day he was born?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, the song is literally named Lucifer. The first few verses and the chorus through the song is constantly praising Lucifer, son of the morning. I mean, it is. It's, you're actually naming him and giving him his title.
It's part of his thing.
Yeah, it's part of his thing. Now, of course, Jay-Z and himself would not be standing alone. You got his Bonnie there, Mr. Bonnie and Clyde, who's at Beyonce. Now, Beyonce, Miss Queen Bee, she, of course, is not without her faults. Just like you had mentioned earlier, she started off as a
gospel singer.
I only started off as a gospel singer, but she was very religious in her youth. Of course, this is the pre-Bootylicious days.
Yeah.
This is the pre-Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
Most recently, in her Lemonade album, she came out with some lyrics that were extremely, I'll say blasphemous, to the point where you had a lot of churches that actually boycotted Beyonce's music.
Yeah.
The specific line in the song or the little short mini video called "Denial" in the Lemonade album.
Yeah.
Reads, "I bathed in bleach and plugged my menses with pages from the holy book."
Yeah.
So she Now, if you didn't think Jay-Z cursing Christmas and Jesus' birth was bad, Beyonce is literally gonna rip out pages from your Bible and use them as a tampon. So that's pretty gross. Now, of course, Beyonce in these past Grammy Awards, there was this huge outcry on how come she didn't win the Grammy, to the point where even had Adele break the trophy in half and give her half.
Yeah.
Now, are we really rewarding this kind of lyrics?
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, now apparently we're not just encouraging this kind of lyrics or this kind of music. We're actually now rewarding it as groundbreaking, as earth-shattering, just these mega hits. Now, that's just one song. If you listen to some of the other songs on the album, myself, I didn't listen to them. I read the lyrics. I didn't want to be seduced or enticed by the tones and the rhythms. So I just, you know what? Let me just read the text for what it is. And some of these songs are gross.
Yeah.
They're super sexually explicit.
Yeah.
They're inciting violence for the most part. They're anti this and anti that. If you can, honestly, go read it. You know why?
Yeah.
Because going back to it, your children are listening to it.
Yeah. I would invite anybody to do this. Read some of these lyrics without listening to the melodies and see what you think.
Yeah. If you can, defend it.
And exactly. If you can defend it after reading the lyrics without the melody, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know how somebody can defend using the Bible as a tampon. I mean, it's pretty explicit.
I mean, that's as blasphemous as it could get.
I thought Jay-Z was bad, and then his wife came out of nowhere and said that, and I'm like, man, and she just had twins. So her kids,
That's almost as blasphemous as idolatry and idol worship, where you have a rapper who's got a chain of himself wearing a chain of himself.
Yeah, and we're talking about
Rick Ross.
Oh, man. He's idolizing himself.
I thought you were kidding when you first told me that.
Nah, I showed you pictures of that.
Yeah, and then I saw the pictures and I was like, man, the idol worship to the extreme.
And on top of that, Beyonce is, I mean, she's literally, like you said, worshipped by certain segments of the population.
Oh,
now, she's being from Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, she like the people of Houston, there's a specific demographic. I'm not going to be racist. But like, I mean, they love her. Like, literally, she can do no wrong. Yeah. I'm gonna take cheesy metaphor, like cheesy comparison.
Yeah.
She's like the Virgen de Guadalupe for Mexicans.
Yeah.
She's that for black people. I mean, it is what it is. It's straight out. Where you have parades for her when she went to concerts in Houston. I mean, it's just.
I mean,
they worship her, man.
When you've seduced the population and you've literally brainwashed, I mean. Again, I don't want to sound harsh or anything, but there was literally a world war fought because a certain individual seduced a whole nation into thinking that they're... By his speech? Yeah. By his speech. So, I mean, it's not the first time it's happened.
No. And
it's not going to be the last time it happens because we're forewarned that there will be an Antichrist. And I'm sure... that all of these concepts will be heavily involved in making him.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is whatever entity is behind Beyonce's album, I mean, it knows what it's doing. You know why? Because it's going to seduce men with her sexuality. Yeah. She is a very attractive woman. And it's going to seduce women in the empowerment of her lyrics.
Yeah.
Now, these songs, empowering women, independence, I mean, you got, of course, her other songs. But this one, this song was supposedly the last line of the denial is he cheating? Yeah. So I don't know how she's trying to defend using the Bible as a tampon as to finding out whether or not her mate is cheating. Yeah. Now listen to some of the other songs. Like I said, they're very women empowering, real feminist, things like that. Yeah. So she's appealing to both the female demographic and then with her outfits. With what she's wearing, and in this case, what she's not wearing. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, guys are just going to look at the video just to see her. Guys aren't going to care what she's saying. They're literally just looking at her. Yeah. So whatever entity is behind her, I mean, it's powerful. Yeah.
Well, you got to remember that these entities have been there since the beginning. For a long
time. Yeah.
And they've been conjuring up this plan since the beginning. and their time is short, and they know it, so they're throwing all the steak on the barbecue.
And there's some videos out there on YouTube that go hard, just like the guy broke down the wall from Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
There's a video out there that I was looking at that literally broke down this whole album and how metaphorically it's her fall from grace as far as being a Christian to denying, in this case would be denying God.
Yeah.
And then her metamorphosis into this quote unquote Illuminati queen princess where she's now just worshiping Satan.
Yeah.
And it's a whole process, and the songs, if you put them in the order which they came out, and you look at it at that point of view, it does kind of make sense. And I'll see if I can link it. And going back to, I'm gonna link all these little lyrics I'm citing. I'm gonna quote. I'll cite them for you on the website.
She's what they call flexing. If I'm not mistaken, in those circles, flexing is when you put something out there in plain sight. There's more merit to the occultist intention. But the flexing has gotten so ridiculous that it's not even hidden anymore.
Yeah.
It's just blatant and outright in front out there. Which just speaks of the times that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's right in front of your face, and we're singing it to our kids. Another song that I remember when we started talking, that kind of just caught you off guard, like, what? Yeah. Was the Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil.
For the Devil, yeah.
Now, in this song, written by Mick Jagger and the rest of the Rolling Stones, it's literally the devil himself introducing himself and kind of taunting you to say who I am. Yeah. You literally listen to the whole lyrics. He's talking about how he was there in certain situations, how he was there when Christ took the cross. Yeah. He was there when the Blitzkriegs happened in World War II. He was there when this and this and that and that. So he's kind of toying with this individual who he's speaking to try to guess who he is.
Without saying it, but it's pretty obvious.
Later on, he does say, I'm Lucifer, later on in the lyrics. But I guess, I can imagine it as in a situation where, let's say, a guy and a girl are out sitting down or whatever, and he's trying to introduce himself. He's giving all these hints, and he's trying to play a game with her to try to guess who he is. Yeah. Once she finally figures out that he's Lucifer, she's obviously in shock. Yeah. And if you listen towards the end of the video, now the devil one himself is kind of toying at her, like, say it. Say it. Like, say who I am. Like, he wants that individual to say who he is. And that's an ugly song. Yeah, when you listen to it, and it's like, same thing, it's super catchy. It's one of those songs that you're not going to know what it's called unless I play it for you. Like when I told you the name of the song, you really didn't know what it was until I started singing it. Well, not singing it, but I started kind of...
It's a popular Rolling Stone song.
Yeah. And, going back to it, you got some blatant examples of artists who just don't even care, and they're kind of celebrating their satanic beliefs. One big one would be, of course, the 3-6 Mafia. They're still around, I believe, in some form. Coincidentally, one of the members of the 3-6 Mafia, Juicy J, was also in the song Dark Horse with Katy Perry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Now, 3-6 Mafia, obviously, if it's not blatant 3 6s referencing the
Come on now.
The mark of the beast, I would hope that you kind of catch that innuendo. Yeah. One of them is literally called Lord Infamous. Yeah. So those guys, and man, if you listen to some of their songs, they're disturbing to say the least. They're really bad. They're really bad.
And they're blatant, the lyrics, and they're flexing, and they're doing this out in front of people. And my response to everyone that I talk to about these things, when they question me, they're like, "Wow, man, you're getting too far into it." Like you were saying a little while ago, you're reading too far into it. How do you read into something as shallow? I mean, you don't need to read into it.
Yeah, it's blatant.
Now, the issue isn't. The issue is the person who's not doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm. The zombie.
Yeah. Which, again, it only speaks about the times that we're living in. Yeah. And it reminds me of a passage in the Bible where we can take this as as a measure of chronologically where are we at. And I mean, we're at the end. And it's pretty obvious. And this is from 2 Timothy 3. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And he drops the mic.
Yeah.
And walks off stage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that's the sign of the times. Things are blatant. I mean, this list of things that I just said are prevalent in everyday society. They're all around us. We are living in the end times, y'all. I mean, straight up repent and come to God, because it's going to go down. It's going to go down, and it's going to go down pretty soon.
Yep.
And you better decide what side of the fence you're going to be on. Straight out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just to finish up this whole demonic influence on music.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you got that theme out there, the meme that, well, the only reason he or she is famous is because they sold their soul to the devil. Yeah. Yeah, you got things like that.
There's a few of those.
Now, it's been recorded. I mean, you got
Snoop Dogg.
I'm literally gonna cite, and I'm gonna put links to the website on all these recordings where you got Bob Dylan, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob Dylan's huge.
Yeah.
That guy's a huge cult following.
Yes.
Now, specifically, he's saying that the reason for his success is he sold his soul to the chief. To the chief, listen to the song, and then it's pretty clear that he sold his soul to the devil. He's blatantly admitted
and he's saying it. Yeah.
You got Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I mean, you got actually on 2 separate interviews where jokingly she just says that she sold her soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Now, you also got DMX, where he has a song where it's called Let Me Fly, where same thing. The lyrics is, I sold my soul to the devil and the price was cheap.
Yeah. But was this, DMX like repented though. And to me, just personally.
Yeah, you hear some of his stories, because
DMX is like one of those stories that lets you know that anyone can be saved.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a guy that...
And not only that,
yeah,
once you've taken that decision, you can see the change, not only in the person's lifestyle, in the individual. DMX has come out with some newer songs that are, praising God, that are talking about his conversion, and you can even sense the difference in his tone of voice. Yeah. I mean, he sounds different.
I remember reading articles where I think when he was in prison for a while, I'm not too sure why. I think that moment of his RTD moment,
his road to Damascus. I think,
if I remember correctly, I'll look for the article where he literally says that Satan himself appeared to him to collect.
There you go. Yeah.
And it wasn't. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, DMX is one of those that kind of repented. There was an artist that just recently passed away. I want to say this past week or 2 weeks ago. He used to do a lot of work with Alex Jones. He was a rapper. Yeah. And he did a lot of work on getting the word out on this infiltration, the satanic infiltration in the music industry. I'll think of his name. I'm sure it'll come to me right now. Yeah. Going back to it, another one would be Kanye West. Yeah. Where the lyrics for his Eyes Closed song is, I sold my soul to the devil. I know it was a crappy deal, but at least it came with some few toys like a Happy Meal. Dude. And there's I'm gonna link a video and the lyrics to that song where he's kind of singing it out proudly. Yeah. And he kind of, now, just like you said, there's gonna be people out there where they're just saying that, or they're just doing this, and I'm like, bro, Like,
then you're the most asleep one of the bunch, bro.
Then I would say, move along, citizen. There's nothing to see here.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Marzulli would say that.
Yeah, there you go. So
that's been my reply to people who say that recently. I just say, then you're the most asleep of all.
Yeah. Then
end of story.
Yeah. So I mean,
you also got your Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, of course.
Murder
Snoop
was
Dogg,
the case.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's also literally talking about having an accident, being visited by the devil, and just pretty much signing over his life for fame and fortune.
I believe that on our previous show of the paranormal, we did give some other artists that have some dealings with the other side. When we like with Kesha and things like that. That's another one. I mean, they reap what they sow at the end. Now, am I going to condemn these artists? No, by any means, by no means. Just like we gave the example of DMX, some of these guys, until their last breath, they can repent. And you know what? If God says He'll forgive them, then then He can. Now, he can. All I can do is turn the radio off. I'm not going to condemn them. I'm not going to say, oh, they're going to hell. Yeah. No, I can't do that.
No,
and I'm not going to do that either.
Stop listening to the lyrics.
And it's the same thing. How many of us have not heard these songs? Are you going to go to hell for listening to these songs? No. But I mean, it makes it a little bit easier to go to hell when it's encouraging certain behaviors and you try to justify it by, well, I heard it in a song, so it must be okay.
You know what's also weird? I've been listening to a few testimonials recently on YouTube of people that have gone to hell and have come back, people that were in surgeries, had whatever, right? And most of their accounts are of artists who have blatantly said that they've sold their soul or whatever. And apparently there's some kind of like punishment that's like extraordinary. And I won't get into, I might link some at the description.
Yeah, I forwarded you the article too.
Yeah,
there was this young girl
was the one that I saw. Yeah, that was one
in
of
hell
them.
That she saw Selena.
Yeah, she saw Selena.
Artist Selena and Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
the Pope or something.
Yeah.
Now, going back to it, like I said, you can either take them as literal, but choose to believe what this girl said. Yeah. I mean, but going back to it, I hate to quote Carlos, but the empirical evidence.
Yeah,
she's not the only one that has seen these artists in hell.
Or in the same fashion, and that's what gets me.
Yeah.
I mean, going off of, now that you mentioned it, empirical data, how do you get people from different parts of the world, more or less around the same time frame, who have not talked to each other, describe the same scene? Mm-hmm. I mean, empirical, everybody. Yeah. That's doesn't get more empirical than that.
So music's some serious stuff. The industry is some serious stuff.
Yeah.
There was another article of like Nicole Scherzinger.
Yeah.
She literally said that the only reason that she hasn't made it big is because she hasn't sold her soul yet.
Yeah.
That apparently she grew up in a very strong religious family that just bound her, and she's not gonna bend like some of these other artists.
Yeah.
And I'll look up that article. Actually, it was her actually saying that in an interview.
Well, but why do you think that is, though?
I think what?
I mean, I know the answer to this one, but why do you think that the music industry?
Because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and the influence it has on not just anybody, but everybody. Going back to it, like I said, it can incite a feeling of love, a feeling of sadness, the political aspect of it, the whole society in a song.
It's trying to control sound.
It's control everything. Yeah, controlling sound. So before it was just trying to control noises. Yeah. Now it's controlling the lyrics, which is now the words.
Yeah.
So now, it's controlling everything.
I think sound is one of the most important components to physical reality and manifestation in this physical world. And if Lucifer was going to choose anything to preside over, it's going to be sound, and thus definitely. Music. Again, the passage I started with makes it very evident that sound and the spoken powerful. Word is one of the, if not the most powerful things out there. Yeah. And it is also said about Lucifer that he's a musician, right?
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna try to I wasn't gonna mention. Being the skeptic that I am, that I want to question everything.
Yeah.
I've always heard, even growing up, well, Lucifer was the angel of music, and Lucifer controls music, and Lucifer was doing this and the head of the choir, and Lucifer was. I'm like, what? Like, where does it say that?
Yeah.
Like, I was being that guy. I'm like, show me the verse.
Yeah.
Until then, all right, cool. And then just right now, as we're doing research for it, I was like, boom, just the Bible just
it showed you the verse.
It showed me the verses.
There you
so
go.
I was just like, all right, I'll just stop questioning.
Yeah.
So a specific one would be Isaiah 14:11. So going back to it, this is just to kind of say how, yes, Lucifer does have power over music. Not to say that he's the angel of music. Like, I'm not going to say he's the god of music, for example, because music can be good for good.
Yeah.
But as an angel, he can use music, and he has done it before.
Yeah.
So going back, Isaiah 14:11. This is the New International Version, I believe. Yeah. All your pomp has been brought down to the grave, along with the noise of your harps. Maggots are spread out beneath you, and worms cover you. So pomp, of course, being the whole just majesty, or the whole just the show. The showmanship, I guess you could say, along with your harps. Yeah. So Satan, when he was brought down to the grave, which of course would have been earth, into his punishment, he took his harps with him. Yeah, so harps is what? Is a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another verse would be Ezekiel 28:13. Now, I'm going to use the New King James Version, as I think we've kind of discussed in our Spanish show how different translations have different meanings.
Yeah.
So in the New King James Version, Ezekiel 28:13, you were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. The sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. So when God created this angel, he created
music.
Timbrels and pipes were prepared for him the day he was created. So that purpose, or one of the purposes of this angel, was to use, obviously, these timbrels and pipes, and we just saw from the verse harps.
Yeah.
And what do you do with those? You make music. So one of the purposes of this angel, Lucifer, or Satan, or the devil, was to make music.
Yeah.
Yes. So that just, those verses kind of shut me down into like, okay, yes, the devil can use music. Those are the verses. Yeah, exactly. Well, and going back to it, now, when God created this angel to make music, I don't think the purpose that God had in mind was so that this music can be blasphemous.
No.
Or be,
of course not,
as a tool or method to lead others astray or to commit sin.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give good examples where I believe the original intent of music was something joyous, was so something.
Yeah, of course.
As, like you said, to express an emotion.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm going to give a few verses where song and singing were actually meant to celebrate God and His glory.
Yeah.
So a good one would be Psalm 96:1. My church sings this all the time. Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord all the earth. Now, you're not going to be singing to God how you're going to use the Bible as a tampon. I mean, I don't believe so. You're going to sing to God His praises on the wonders of what He did.
Yeah.
Another one would be specifically Colossians 3:16. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, through psalms, which is a song, hymns, the melody, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. So you're going to be singing to God out of gratitude, expressing that gratitude that's within your heart.
Yeah.
So if somebody is singing a song that is blasphemous, that is explicit in its violence and its sexuality, that's what they're going to have in their heart.
Yeah.
They're not writing it because it's just fun. No, because that's what's in their mind and that's what's in their heart.
You touch a very important point there when you mention melodies.
Yeah.
And like I was saying a little while ago, melodies are comprised of musical scales.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you have people doing things like drop D tuning, for those of you that are familiar with heavy metal music, 90% of heavy metal music is done in drop D, which means that they lower the tonality of all of their instruments to give it that edgy sound. So what you just said right now reinforces the intent behind even tuning your instrument.
Even the tune has something to say about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Another verse, James 5:13. Is anyone among you in trouble? Let them pray. Is anyone happy? Let them sing songs of praise.
There you go.
So he's encouraging, if you're happy, sing praises, and you're singing praises to God above.
Yeah.
Not to some idol or not to some artist who he or she thinks is worthy of your praise.
Yeah.
No, worship God.
Yeah.
And of course, the Bible itself has books of songs in it.
Yeah.
One being specifically the book of Psalms.
Yeah.
Where
it's
the
whole
book of Psalms, all 175 chapters, were actually meant to be sung.
Yeah.
They were actually songs that David and the other authors, they're literally lyrics. That's what it is.
Lyrics
It's a
to
book
songs.
of lyrics of songs.
Yeah.
It even tells you between certain chapters how the song
Stop
of the
and
song,
pause.
stop, pause. The song of David when he did this or whatever. So it's literally David's lyric book of his life.
It's his songbook.
Yes, exactly. And of course, you got the Song of Solomon, which is a love song.
It's an early mixtape.
It's the early mixtape of David. Yeah.
There you go.
So I just wanted to say that. You know what? We kind of tend to focus on the bad and how it's demonic and satanic. No.
It can be liberating.
I believe the original intent was to sing songs of praise.
Yeah.
Because before any of these artists existed, God spoke his word.
Yeah.
And those words turned to song. And David expressed them. Yeah.
Not only that, music can be used for healing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there's that drop detuning, there are musical scales and tones that are used for actual physical healing. And they have a physical result in the material world. And just really briefly, I can give some concrete examples. One of the biggest ones I can give, the actual pyramids of Giza. Now, inside the king's chambers, the actual king's chamber is a resonant chamber. And there's been a lot of studies done within the resonant chamber where the chamber itself has what looks like a sarcophagus and was mistaken for a sarcophagus.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hit it with a hard object, it causes a resonance inside the whole cavern.
Yeah.
Now, there was a physicist in not too long ago, in like 1970, I believe. I'm trying to pull up his name, but anyways, this physicist, he got permission to do cymatic studies inside the Great Pyramid.
Wow.
We'll get into what cymatics is. But basically, what ended up happening is that not only did he get cured for some ailments that he had while he was doing these studies in the king's chamber, he also proved without a shadow of a doubt how different tones affect the person inside the resonant chamber. Okay. Now, cymatics, just really quickly, cymatics is the science of demonstrating the effects of sound in objects, right? And one of the most, prevalent examples of cymatics are these things called Chladni plates. And basically what they are is it's like a plate, like a metallic plate, and you have sand or some kind of particulate material spread across this plate. And then it's certain tones are generated to where the metallic plate vibrates at a specific frequency. Now, what's really strange is that each frequency creates a different pattern. Yeah. And scientists have
seen
got
those videos.
Yeah, they're called Chladni plates. I'm gonna put some links in the description. And there's no denying that frequencies create patterns. In this specific example, the sand arranges itself in the geometric shapes depending on the tone that it's being fed. And to reinforce what I was saying, when you have tones that are based on nature, on what we call the Fibonacci sequence, all of the patterns are pretty. They're organized. They're beautiful. And when you start feeding it some of these off patterns, like these drop D tunings and like this 440 hertz, the patterns get erratic and they get distorted and they have jagged edges and they have, I mean, you can tell that this frequency is not having a good result in the physical material world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just one proof that I came up with of how sound affects you and how you yourself can see it in the physical world. I mean, just take a speaker, put a piece of cardboard on top of it, put some salt on it, feed it different frequencies, and you will see the different patterns that get drawn on the cardboard. So, you know, just another proof of how sound affects at a physical level everything around it. Now, you got to remember that sound is emanating in 360 degrees like a bubble.
Yeah.
All around in all directions. So it's affecting your body and every cell in your body at every moment. So you have to be careful what frequencies you're exposing your physical body to. Like I said, you can use them for healing. You can use them for glorious things, for uplifting your spirit, for getting yourself out of a bad day, for in general healing.
Your motivational songs, there's a whole industry on there.
Exactly.
Whenever I go to Walmart, there's always that one little aisle, that little press the button for the sample, because it's motivational music.
Yeah, well, thank God for that.
Yeah.
Amidst all this
all the noise.
Yeah, all this noise.
Yeah. And I wanted to give examples, or an example of an artist that I really enjoy her work. She's actually a pretty big artist.
Yeah.
She was an actual American Idol winner.
Okay.
Carrie Underwood.
All right.
So she's actually a pretty big name, almost a household name. I believe anybody, if I say Carrie Underwood, you're gonna know who that is.
Yeah.
Of course, she's famous for the song "Jesus Take the Wheel."
Yeah.
Some of her more famous, some of her more recent songs that even have all the mounting pressure to sing about fornicating or worshiping the devil or killing or whatever or performing sexual acts.
Yeah.
She actually made a really song that actually really touched me called "Something in the Water," where she's actually celebrating her baptism.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was actually a pretty big song, and it got a really positive reception.
Yeah.
Where I would encourage you guys to read the lyrics. I'm gonna put the link for the lyrics on that song where she's actually praising God and how something in the water just changed her for the better. So that's a really good song. And of course, another one is "How Great Thou Art." She's actually known for sticking to her traditional Christian roots, even though she's a huge pop star.
Yeah.
So that's just to show you that not every artist out there is satanic or under some satanic influence. A good chunk are, and really some of the more famous ones I would probably say are. But it just goes to show you that, you know what, God's going to take care of his own.
Of course.
And one being, of course, Katy Perry. Carrie Underwood, excuse me.
There you go.
Where, you know what, she didn't forget God even in her stardom.
Yeah.
So unlike some of these other artists that started off in the church and straight away, a few do stay.
Yeah.
A few do still have that conviction in her heart. Obviously, she has her other songs where she's breaking trucks and whatnot on a cheating boyfriend, things like that. Obviously, she has to, of course, cater to it. I mean,
yeah, of course,
which is fine. Not that it's fine, but which is understandable, given, of course, she has to do it for a living.
But even then,
it's not going to go as far as
don't
like
go
S&M,
off the rails.
No, things like that.
No.
And I really just did want to end with one short little psalm. Psalms 100. It's a song my dad made me memorize. I don't know how many times, English and Spanish, since I was a kid.
Okay.
Psalms 100. Make a joyful shout to the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us and not ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name, for the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures to all generations. So even before you come into the presence of God, It's telling you, sing.
Yeah.
God loves to hear singing. God loves music. He's just like us.
There
But
you go.
he wants to hear praises.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear the
Lil
opposite.
Wayne.
He doesn't want to hear Little Wayne. That's another one that's another.
Don't even talk about that guy.
But I just wanted to end with that. And music is a powerful tool for both good and bad.
Yeah.
So it just seems right now that we're just being bombarded heavily by the bad.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you guys that if we're able to notice it, then I can definitely tell you that your kids are listening to these lyrics. Subliminally, they're picking it up.
Yeah, they
If
are.
your kids act a certain way, I know my 4-year-old, if he hears a certain song, he'll start acting out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whether it be good or bad, and he'll just start singing it over and over in his head.
Yeah.
So I try to be as vigilant as I can to what he listens to.
Yeah.
And it's not cute when a little kid is singing about sex.
No, it's not.
It's not cute when a 4-year-old is singing about losing their virginity.
Yeah.
It's not cute.
No.
I see videos on YouTube all the time where you got these little children singing Despacito.
Yeah.
Or you got little children singing S&M, or little children singing Katy Perry songs.
Yeah.
That's not cute.
And they're being praised for it.
And yes,
yeah,
that's not cute, guys.
No.
And God forgive you if you think that's okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to end on that, my little preacher moment. But
no, that's good. I like that.
But you got anything else to say, Carlos? Or you want to wrap it up?
No, I'm good. Let's wrap it up.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for another episode of RTD Radio. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Definitely send us your feedback, the comments
down below. Prove us wrong. Yeah.
Now, or any other things you guys think about.
Iron sharpens iron. We're here to edify each other and debate, not argue.
Yeah.
So God bless y'all.
Use that voice for good.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. We'll
see you guys
next
God
episode.
Bless you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.